widely available. It is encryption to the extent that if you set a computer lab with some, 100 computers, fully tasked to hack into my birth certificate stored in my cloud, if that's your aim, the computer lab will take longer than the age of the universe to hack 448-bit encryption.
That's what they all say.
Well, not really, because you see, that's what I'm saying. There are different levels of encryption, and depending on the level that you go for, that's the result you have.
The big issue then becomes one of cost. If I have a laptop that costs me, and I know what you're about to answer, but then let me just ask it anyway. My laptop costs me 50,000 bob.
Yeah.
I've got my exam stuff there, and I've got all my schoolwork for the last 4 years, and maybe past schoolwork, and then have a few of my work records. And then I come and you tell me this stuff will cost me 10,000 shillings a year. I'll think that's just too expensive. So I might agree to the concept of backing up. I might even see that it might be worth it. I mean, it's the same old thing about insurance. Once you get told the cost of insurance, say, yes, I can understand why it's important, but for this price, I'll take my chances.
Sure. We have various packages. Starts off from 2,500 shillings per year. And depending on your volume, like, for example, your...
Very nice iPad. I've used it for very many years.
Lovely.
A year and a half. This is 64 gig.
Good.
Yes.
4 gig.
64.
Oh, 64.
It's got all my music.
Okay, lovely. So that is 7,900 shillings per year to back up that, plus another one like that, because with 200 gigabyte package, 7,900 shillings per year. And you see, in a sense, yes, it is like insurance, because you see, you can insure your iPad, you can insure your laptop. It gets stolen, you get the money back. The data you'll not get back. So ours is, we guarantee your data 100% recovery of everything that was backed up. 100% recovery. And yeah, the packages vary. 2,500, 7,900 for 200 giga. 9,800 for 300 giga. These are personal packages. Business packages start off from 6,800 shillings per year, and that's pretty much what you spend one weekend down at Coast.
That's what that's not
even
say.
enough. There you are.
I'm going to talk. That's what they all say, but anyway.
But no, that's the reality.
Yeah.
That's the reality. I mean,
Yes.
if you look at what you spend that money on otherwise, and here we're not just looking at the cost of let's say the hard drive. Yes, indeed, you can get a hard drive less than that. But how much time do you spend?
And actually, that's
backing
the
up?
next question, because if I remember, there's a company I worked for in the UK, and what they used to do, I remember there was also a start to it for about 2 weeks. They actually used to have physical tapes. You have to insert that physical tape every night. It does a backup. There's a guy who would come in the morning to collect it. Right? So in effect, you had to it was there daily.
Yes.
Right, and it's all software based and everything, and they said tape is actually the most efficient way of backing these things up, not electronic or whatever. But anyway, the point is that it had to be done daily. And for a company of this size, a Nation Media Group, there's so much data generated on a daily basis. There's our stories that we do here on TV. There's the stories that they do in all the newspapers that we have. There's what all the support services do, finance, HR, everyone. We probably generate another terabyte of data daily. I don't know, I'm just taking a wild guess. Even just transferring it through our normal lines, that would take the whole day to transfer. So again, someone would sit there and think, I'm not going to do this on a daily basis. It's too tedious. I'm going to wait for the end of the week, and that end of the week is when things burn down.
In our case, on personal package, your update happens live. Anytime you hit save button, the document immediately goes to the cloud, provided you're connected to internet. So you need to do nothing. There is a software that runs in your system. It checks whenever Wallace has done something. Okay, great. So he has changed that document. Let's update the document. We keep the old copy and all the versions of it, so that if any one day you feel that you want to go back to the old one, it's also there. So all that happens automatically. You need to think nothing about it. For companies, we can offer scheduled
So it doesn't
backups.
build up stuff for the end of the day and then tries to back up 20 gigabyte worth.
For businesses, we do offer that option. They can do either live, in the sense that real time, whenever something is saved, it immediately goes to the cloud, or they can wait until end of the day, because with businesses very often maybe their bandwidth is less, and they have a lot of people sending out
So you don't
emails
waste
and
it.
sitting on Facebook, and
Facebook research. It's every time you see me on Facebook, it's Facebook research, so you can know what to say the next day on PM Live.
very true.
Facebook research.
Facebook research.
Yes. Twitter research.
Very true. So for a company, they can actually do a scheduling and say every evening, 8 o'clock automatically backs up everything that has been accumulated throughout the day. So you need to do nothing, and it happens. Any bandwidth will do, by the way, in the sense that provided it is able to connect to internet. Of course, the speed, I mean, the bigger the pipe, the faster. The smaller the pipe, of course, it squeezes all data through it, but it takes a bit longer.
What does it take to educate the market? Because insurance, I've actually had these arguments with insurance people as well. Motor insurance, in fact, just now we had someone from the insurance business, Tom Gitogo, and it's the same question. When it comes to vehicle insurance, the law says you have to insure your car. So I will not like it, I will not like the expense, but once that sticker is done and the policeman, I know the policeman is in danger of stopping him, I will insure. Health insurance, you typically don't do it when you're younger. You get kids, realize you probably need to do it. Life insurance, again, when I'm 25 years old, I simply don't care in as much as I play rugby and skydive, but as soon as I get a bit older, I realize life is finite, then I'll insure. Same thing with data. What does it take to actually convince IT people, convince normal individual human beings who have all these data points now that, hey, you do need to back up?
Sure. And you see, the interesting thing is, as much as IT people, I know it's a very interesting group of people. They all know they ought to back up. And many of them we talk to, they're like, yeah, I know I should. And when we actually tell them, and they probably don't, by the way, many of them don't, and many of them know everything about it, but do nothing about it at the very same time.
Human nature.
Human nature. And so, you know, and many of them actually don't even know so much about cloud computing as they lead on. So very often they, yeah, I know. But when you actually explain to them, they go, oh, really? Oh, do you mean it's that easy? But talking about, yes, what would it take? And for example, in France, insurance companies give any business that they insure a discount on their premiums if they are backed up in cloud, because it reduces the business risk of that business. And business continuity is much faster and almost guaranteed. Yet, if they provided an insurance for companies, let's say, that burned down at Kimathi House, if those companies had backed up, even if the building is being watered down because of the fire, downstairs there is a cyber cafe. They can go there and the business is up and running.
But so there is your a business idea. Have you spoken to insurance companies about that? Even on an individual level?
We have started, and actually I'd like to have a meeting actually with the insurance, the Association of Kenya Insurance Companies, because really it is something that they ought to consider. And in fact, I mentioned it briefly to an executive of one of their leading insurance companies last week. And we would certainly want to go into deeper discussions.
Because I remember having that conversation with someone, and unfortunately, a bit ignorant, the insurance guy, when I first got my very first laptop a few years ago, and I said, fine, how much does it cost to insure this? And they said, how much is the cost of the laptop? I said, the cost of the laptop is X amount. It's X amount times whatever magic mathematics they do, and they said it's going to cost you this number of thousands of shillings in a year. So I said, for me, the important thing, okay, fine, it was still important to me, but the important thing was the data you write. Because at that time I started collecting my music, and sometimes these things, you can't find them anywhere else. I said, listen, for me, the important thing is what's contained in there. Can I cost that? For me, it wasn't so much about the backing it up. Can I cost that and pay the extra premium, because that's what it means to me? The guy says no. Water insurance is a physical device. So it just sounds to me like insurance companies, one, still not thinking that context. Fine, we'll give you a package for all your electronics. Laptop, iPad, for instance, or any other tablet, computer, mobile phone. And so we'll insure the physical device for this amount of premium, and the discount for data will be this. Absolutely.
And, you know, any of the insurance companies who are right now listening, if it actually has rang a bell in their head and the light bulb has gone off, please talk to us, because we would very much be interested in taking that conversation forward. And because, you know, really our business is all about the SMEs and about individuals. And when it comes to Kenyan economy, they are the ones who make it happen or make it fail. And, you know, their business continues.
That's in any economy, actually.
It's actually what makes Kenya. So for us, we want to see SMEs do business easily, smoothly, without any hiccups, no matter what happens in their physical premises, but so that they're able to, you know, carry on with their business, even whatever happens.
Let me see one out of left field. Is cloud computing overrated? Obviously, you're going to say no, but
Overrated how?
In the sense of everyone talks about the cloud as if the cloud is a magical thing. The cloud is actually physical stuff. It just physically sits somewhere else, except you can access it through the internet.
Well, what makes it magical is that no matter where you are, what you do, you always have access to everything that matters to you. And you've got to agree that a lot of things that matter are digital. So once you're on cloud, actually the feeling is, how did I ever live without it? Because like here we're sitting right now. If you ask me, okay, show me something, maybe one of the proposals to insurance companies, I'll just open it up on your iPad. I don't need to have my laptop here.
But, okay, this is away from your business. And we're sort of have to look at this thing theoretically a bit. The biggest backup people have now for their photos is Facebook.
True.
I mean, literally, look, go stop anyone on the streets and ask them, okay, fine, your party last weekend, your little hike that you did to Longonot, whatever it is, where are the photos? They'll say they're on my phone. But typically, they'll say they go to Facebook and take a look. But what's happened, people don't realize it, is Facebook keeps on changing these privacy policies and legal policies, where there was a rumor the other day, well, the other day is about 6 months ago, that they were actually the owners of any data that was posted onto it. Now, without making anyone panic, it could 10 years down the road where people realize I don't have the rights to my wedding photos. The rights to those wedding photos belong to a company sitting in America.
Yes, and you see, at the very same time, you don't want to put everything onto Facebook. Let's agree. I mean, some of...
Convince them, because they're the ones who don't listen. They're the ones who keep on going and doing stuff.
But surely, the photos of your baby's first steps...
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, people almost put photos of their birth.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's a very disturbing thought, but I'm telling you.
It just went through my head.
The things you see, well, yeah, just scrub your head, but the things you see on Facebook nowadays is, like, you're right, it's the birth of sort of the first 10 hours of the baby's life. It's right there on Facebook, and the child is baptized right on Facebook. So, in effect, you can actually have an entire thing. In fact, now with this timeline business on Facebook, it's your entire life is there. They no longer have rights to it.
Very true. And you see, then... Of course, some of the child right activists will say, did you actually ask for the consent of your child to put their photos
Child is
there?
2 days old.
Very true. But do you have their consent? Because one day they'll be old, and one day they will sue you and say, who gave you right to put my naked butt photo when I was 1 year old? And now it's public.
Now you're putting pictures in my...
And I'm a politician, and I have somebody sticking my 1 year old naked butt photo in my face.
You'll probably get votes. But more to the point, what if it's the person themselves doing it? Because yes, you can, I mean, and people have had these arguments saying, no, you shouldn't expose your babies to Facebook. But you've got your 15-year-olds, your 17-year-olds, people who now no longer have the compunctions you and I would have about just sharing everything. And they put, but more to the point is the physical photographs, well, the electronic photographs, they put those up, so it's they themselves putting them up. And they say, hey, I had a party, this is what it is, I got this big thing, I graduated, this is the photo for it.
Very true, and you see, one of the things they very often also don't realize is that once it's on the internet, it can never be actually completely erased. Even if you delete it,
Scare them.
It's always there. And one day when you're going to apply for a job, and many of us do extensive background research before we employ somebody.
Is it fair though?
Well, it is, because...
In some respects, you and I were very stupid when you were younger. And here it's pure presumptions, but there's things you did that were pretty stupid. There are things I did that was pretty stupid. We had a right to forget it. We almost had a right to erase that part of our lives and move on. I mean, you'll do stuff. That's what youth is about.
Very true. But now it's all out there, and you can never actually take it out, away, and your future employers are likely to find out. And, I mean, already in countries like US, Europe, people are actually screened through the social media using SAP and many of SAS and many of those other platforms.
Sad.
Yeah, but the reality is the job market is competitive. And the reality is you want the best for your company.
Oh, but it just make me very sad. But anyway, so that there if you want to have lessons from here, 1, back up your data. Number 2, your 1-year-old butt is going to be seen when you want to run for office, so she says. Number 3 is don't share your entire life on social media. So on that very, very, very disturbing note that the employer is actually looking at your Facebook photos from last night, we end it here on PM Live. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, well, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, as usual, looking at business economics and finance right here on PM Live. Please make sure you're with us at that point. But that's it from us. Good afternoon.